What's up gamers? Welcome to Replay, the series that covers the differences between a video game and its re-releases. I'm your host, Ginge the Ripper, and today we're tackling Sonic's first attempt at 3D, Sonic 3D Blast. Contrary to popular belief, there are actually 3 versions of the game instead of 2. The original for Sega Genesis, its remake on the Sega Saturn, and a remaster of the remake for Windows 95. For the remainder of this video, I'm referring to them as Sonic 1, 2, and 3 in order of release. A new intro was added to Sonic 2 and 3 as the devices they ran on were more powerful than the Genesis. A sky background was included in 2 and 3's title screen, while 1 has a black background. Sonic 1's title screen also has no background music. And since 3 is a computer game, an exit to Windows option was added to its title screen. Sonic 3 doesn't have a menu screen like 1 and 2. In Sonic 1, Sonic stands in the background of the menu screen, the options are made of wood, and all 3 options are visible. In Sonic 2, Sonic was removed from the background, the menu options are stone, and only 1 is visible at a time. Sonic 1's control option was changed to Help in Sonic 2. Control shows the button layout for the game while Help explains the items. Also, in the sound menu, the order of the menu options was swapped in Sonic 2. Starting up the game, a cutscene plays at the beginning of Sonic 1, explaining the narrative. This was removed from 2 and 3. Weird. An additional cutscene will play in 1 before the true final boss. If you've collected all the Chaos Emeralds, they will appear in the cutscene. Once again, this was removed from 2 and 3. Both good and bad endings in 1 were remade in 2 and 3. While loading into a level, Sonic 1's zone screens are black, while 2 and 3's are akin to older Sonic titles, and their text is 3D. Since Sonic 2 and 3 run on superior hardware, their graphics were improved, and all the music was rewritten as well. Also, the music in Sonic 3 doesn't change when you break open an invincibility or speed boost container. The pause screen was also upgraded. In Sonic 1, the word pause appears at the top corner of the screen. In 2 and 3, a map appears that changes between areas. And during boss battles, the map is replaced with Eggman. When you die in Sonic 1, the screen fades to blue. In 2, the screen fades to red. And in 3, the screen fades to black. The continue screen was also changed in 2 and 3. The special stages received the most significant change between games. In Sonic 1, Sonic runs across a 3D bridge from a bird's eye view, allowing the player to see what's in front of him. This was done so the game could retain its 3D aesthetic while also sacrificing difficulty. 3 sections were added to the special stages as a result. Sonic 2's special stages have a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 aesthetic. They have 2 sections and actually use 3D models. A couple new features were also added to the stages. Dash gates are scattered about that boost Sonic forward, and mini checkpoints reward the player with extra rings the quicker he or she reaches them. Knuckles and Tails will also fly Sonic to the special stages. Sonic 3's special stages are the most interesting in my opinion. While Windows 95 had the graphical capabilities of the Saturn, at least in terms of 2D sprites, it wasn't as fast. So the developers had to remake the special stages to run well enough on Windows 95 while still being playable on future operating systems. Look how much faster the game runs in compatibility mode for Windows 11 as opposed to Windows 95. Insane, right? Anyway, the final result became 2D special stages akin to Sonic 2, that are one long section. There is an overabundance of rings, so you'll never have to worry about missing them. The biggest challenge is avoiding bombs, but even then, avoiding them is practically optional until the final Chaos Emerald. In Sonic 1, you can collect 2 emeralds per stage, one from Tails and one from Knuckles. In Sonic 2 and 3, you get 1 per stage and an extra life. Sonic 1's Chaos Emeralds have a traditional emerald shape, while 2 and 3's emeralds have their iconic diamond shape. The emeralds were also reordered in 2 and 3, and the white emerald was replaced with a third blue emerald. There are only 3 layout changes I could find in Sonic 3D Blast, and they're all found in Green Grove. At the very beginning of the first level, the edge of the cliff was cut off in 2 and 3. In the same level, just after the first teleporter, there's a flower bush next to the turret that was removed in 2 and 3. And the final change is found in the second level. Both bridges in Sonic 1 have rings on them. These rings were removed in 2 and 3. The rest of the differences are background changes that don't affect the gameplay. Additional flower colors and mushrooms were added to Green Grove in 2 and 3. Flowers and trees are more abundant, and some of the trees have monkeys on them. Moles were also added to the background of 2 and 3. In Sonic 1, all the bridges are identical. In 2 and 3, railing was added to the first bridge. The second bridge has flat planks, and every other bridge that faces this way is like this due to reused sprites, and the third bridge is identical to the bridges in Sonic 1. There's also no sound effect for the bridges in Sonic 1. The arrows on the dash pads in Sonic 1 are green, but black in 2 and 3. Flowers were added to the pond in 2 and 3, the cannons were recolored, and the water is translucent. In Sonic 2 and 3, the river ends a little too early here in the first level. Also, in Sonic 1, the water flows on top of the end bricks at the waterfall, while the waterfall stops before the end bricks in 2 and 3. And finally, the goal rings in 2 and 3 have a black line through the middle of the red area. This is missing in 1. In Sonic 2 and 3, cobwebs were added to Rusty Ruin, along with flicky statues and torches. The big pots have mice inside in 2 and 3, and are lined with gold. Also, the mice squeak in 3, but not in 2. Some of the floor tiles move in 2 and 3. Once again, they make noise in 3, but not in 2. The knights were changed from gray to blue, and the fire traps were changed from gray to red. The lights on the teleporters are glitched in 3. And finally, it rains in 2 and 3, but not 1. Fog was also added at 2, but removed in 3. In Spring Stadium, several of the decorations were recolored in 2 and 3. Spinners, blue spheres, stars, Eggman statues, and Eggman balloons were also added to the background. A round pattern was added to the floor tiles. The tubes in Sonic 1 have glass in between the red barriers that was removed in 2 and 3. The base of the spike turret is gray in 1, and blue in 2 and 3. The dragonflies are purple in 1, and red in 2 and 3, and finally, the pillars and gates at each goal ring were recolored. Not a lot changed in Diamond Dust. Footprints and igloos were added to the background of 2 and 3. It also snows in 2 and 3, but not in 1. Lastly, like Rusty Ruin, there's fog in 2, but not 3. All the minerals in the background of Volcano Valley are the same color in 1, and different colors in 2 and 3. Burning trees, lava bubbles, and cracks in the lava crust were added to the background, and continuing the trend, a smoke texture was added to the foreground of 2, but not 3. The stones and rocks in Sonic 1 are gray. In 2 and 3, the stones are yellow, and the rocks are brown. The bottoms of the fire traps were also recolored in 2 and 3, along with the teleporters and the X. In the second stage, the moving platforms were changed from gray to yellow, and small volcanoes were added to the background. And finally, the boss of this zone was also recolored. Heading over to Ginge, an extra piece of machinery was added to the background of 2 and 3, along with blue and orange flashing lights. Some yellow non-flashing lights were also added. This battery-looking thing was changed from orange to red, along with almost every asset that uses this color, save the wires, which were changed from orange to multicolor. Actual batteries were also added to the background. Some of the Tesla coils fire electricity. The needles on the gauges move in 2 and 3. Nails were added to the tiles of 2 and 3. The pipe connected to the smaller Tesla coils on the edge of the platforms was changed from blue to black. The chocolate milk dispenser was also recolored, and caution tape was added to the base of the coil. Background pipes were changed from light gray to dark gray. Some of the pieces on the pipe chute entrances were also recolored, and the braces on the pipe chutes were changed from gray to red. There are 3 pipe chutes in Ginge the player can't enter. In 1, the arrows and lights were removed from these chutes. However, in 2 and 3, they were re-added to 2 of the pipe chutes, but left off the 3rd one. Some of the pipe chutes have a blue light on top of them. In 2 and 3, the light flashes. Some of the colors on the goal gates changed as well. The bumpers have blue lights on top of them in 1. In 2 and 3, the lights are purple. Also, the orange plunger you can find on some of the machines was changed to green in 2 and 3, and also moves. Also, for an unknown reason, the bumpers sometimes make chirping noises in 2. And finally, the double arrows on the ramp in the second level are dark gray in 1, but black in 2 and 3. Almost everything in the background of Panic Puppet was recolored. Containers and additional machines were added to the background, gears were also added to the background, and the doors on the walls open. In the second level, the turrets and landmines are gray in 1, and purple in 2 and 3. The flying robot was also recolored, and the Eggman nostril pipe is light gray in 1, and dark gray in 2 and 3. Finally, the weak points on the boss are blue in 1 and 2, and red in 3. I don't know if this was intentional or if it's another glitch. And before we get to the last level, here's a fun fact for you guys. The developers used alliteration in all the zone names: Green Grove, Rusty Ruins, Spring Stadium, Diamond Dust, Volcano Valley, Ginge, and Puppet Panic. Moving into the final fight, the platforms in 1 are flat with a purple outline. In 2 and 3, they are 3D glass tiles. When you step on 1 and 2, they shine with a rainbow pattern. In 1 and 3, they shine white. Additionally, in Sonic 2, a background was added that wasn't present in 1. In Sonic 3, the background itself was removed, but the sprites were left in. Finally, the credits are visually different between all 3 games. Also, Sonic appears in the credits of 2 and 3, but not 1. A new credit theme was also written for 2 and 3. And those were all the differences I found between the Sonic 3D Blast games. Know something I don't? Which version is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and keep on gaming.